Hello and welcome to the Hub, the education network for Waltham Forest. On this website, education professionals can find all the information they need to work in education in this borough. We cover the whole age range from 0 to 19. This video will show you how to set up a group in the community on the Hub. A group allows like-minded professionals to come together in one place to share information and start conversations with each other. First, navigate to the community and log in. There are a number of ways to get there from the Hub's homepage. You can use the menu item within Education in Waltham Forest to get there, the final one here. You can use the menu item within the News and Networks menu, here. Or you can use the button on the right hand side of the homepage, here. So click on this to take you to the Community Hub homepage, and now log in. So click login, enter my email address and my password. Okay, now that I'm logged in, I can see a list of groups in the community on the right hand side in this most active groups block. To see all of the groups, I can click on the more button, so let's do that now. So I'm taken to the groups page now, so I can see a list of all the community groups on the Hub. So you can see the All-Talk Communication Project, School Data Administration Group, SBM Network, and more groups as I go down the page. But you can see at the top of the page on the right hand side there is a Create a Group button, so let's click on this in order to start the process for creating a group. So there's a number of options that I have to fill in before I can create a group. So I want to put in the title of a group. So I'm going to call it that. And then in this description, I'll write in a description of the group so that others can see who the group is intended for and what's likely to be discussed. So and you can see at the top here you've got all these options for formatting, so bold, italic, bullet points, indentations, adding in links, so you can add websites addresses and email addresses, so things like that. So you can make it as nice looking as you want. So I've done the title, filled in the description. So I can add in a logo if I wanted to for the group, so I could choose a picture file here and upload it here. But the most important part of setting up a group is the privacy settings, and you can see there are 3 settings and you have to choose one, but as default it's set to joining requires admin approval. That means anybody who wants to join has to click a button to say that they want to join. Because you're the person who set up the group, you'll be the administrator, so you decide whether that person is able to join the group and contribute to your conversations. And the box underneath is also ticked to say hide contributed content from non-members, which means that only members of your group will be able to see what you're discussing. So any registered user of the Hub who's not a member of your group will not be able to see it, as will any non-registered users as well. So we recommend that you do use these settings, which are set as default, as people on the site will be able to see that your group exists, but they need to ask you for your permission to join. You can see the final option here about privacy settings is a much stricter one, where joining requires an invitation. And that means you actually have to add the users manually to the group, which can be quite time consuming, because the default setting at the moment allows people who notice your group to request to join, so that saves you a little bit of a burden. And the top option about privacy settings is to have an open or public group, where any site member can contribute. So that anybody who's a registered user will be able to contribute to the conversations that you start and see what's being posted. So this can be a good idea if you're trying to encourage debate across a wider group of people rather than just a select group. So you can invite contributions from everybody or much wider group of people. Okay, so I'm going to leave the privacy settings as they are, and the final area now to add in are the likely topics to be discussed within the group. So you can just type in the first few letters of what's going to be discussed. So I've just typed in F and it's given me a list of topics which might be relevant and I could choose from. So if I think that is going to be discussed in there, then I could also add in a new one by separating it with a comma. So let's add some more things in like that. So just by adding topics like this, then people will be able to see exactly what sort of things will be in a period. But because this is I set up this group about football, I could, after typing in the first few letters of football, nothing comes down, so I could just add in a new one like that by typing it in manually, and then that will save the word football in for future. But because this is a test group, I'm not going to use any topics for now, but normally I would if I was setting up a group. So that is the whole process. That's just entering a title, entering a description, adding a logo if appropriate, setting the group permissions and adding topics. I'm happy with all of that information that I've added, so now I click on save. Okay, it says that my group has been created, but it's entered the moderation queue and will be reviewed shortly. So the site administrator will approve or reject the creation of the group, most likely approve it. So the next time that you log in, you should see a link to it on your home page. So on the left hand side, it's got your name. I've set up my name as Test the Hub, whereas this will be your first name and your second name. And where it says member of here, it has a list of your community groups. So once the group has been approved, it will sit under here, and then that way you'll be able to access the community group very easily. Other users, people who aren't members of the group, will probably see it in the most active groups list if there's lots of activity, or they can just go to the groups page and see it along with all the other community groups. Another way of finding your groups very easily is just clicking on your My Account button when you're logged in, and then clicking the drop down menu, and then when you hover over the community button, it will open out on the left hand side some extra options with your community groups, and so you'll be able to click on these to get to those community groups very easily. Okay, so to wrap up, this has been a guide to setting up a group in the community on the Hub. Please take time to view our other videos if you need help with using the site.